I had to say some tough goodbyes when I left my former employer, but one of the toughest was to a speaker that I had fallen in love with. I knew I would miss them, but I didn't know how much I would miss them until they were gone. So when I relaunched this channel, I made it my mission to get this speaker into my new studio as soon as possible. This is the speaker I can't live without. It's the speaker against which all others will be judged on this channel. It's the speaker around which I will build an entire system. This is the SVS Ultra Evolution Pinnacle speaker review 1 year later. Welcome back to CalebRated, everyone. I'm Caleb, and while I've been without the SVS Ultra Evolution Pinnacle for about 5 months, I feel like the degree to which I missed them over those 5 months and the abundant amount of sheer joy that I've experienced as a result of their return fairly qualifies this as a 1 year later review. I hope you agree, because that's what I'm running with. Now, to be clear, I love a lot of speakers. The Golden Ear T66, for example, has a very special place in my heart, and it is gorgeous, especially on camera, which is why you'll be seeing plenty of that speaker on this channel. But we'll call it the Pinnacle from here on out for short, though to be clear, it is the latest, greatest Ultra Evolution Pinnacle. The Pinnacle, as I'll explain in further detail shortly, it just really does it for me. Deep, deep down in my soul. If you've ever loved a speaker before, you know what I'm talking about. Now, I know this thing happens to other reviewers. It certainly happened to me, where you experience a honeymoon phase with a piece of audio gear, but over time that enthusiasm wanes a little. You may still very much like the gear, but you don't feel as gushy about it. Well, I'm here to tell you that I still feel gushy about the Pinnacle Towers. I felt that way 6 months in. Then absence made my heart grow even fonder. And now that they're back, I feel a sense of validation that I've not felt about an audio gear evaluation in quite some time. I feel like I really got it right the first time. Now, I'm going to tell you why these speakers do it for me in a moment. But first, let me explain to you or remind you why these speakers are so special even on paper. First, it's the size, right? I mean, come on. In the world of speakers, size doesn't always matter, and if it does, it's not always a good thing. But with the Pinnacle here, the size has everything to do with their awesomeness, both in terms of appearance and sound. Now, I'll be the first to admit these speakers are a bit imposing. Full stop. They are a bit imposing in this room too, which is quite a bit smaller than my previous space. But I just don't care. The size won't be for everyone, but that's okay, because SVS also makes 2 smaller versions of this speaker, and they are also amazing. In fact, when you're done here, go check out Andrew Robinson's review of the speaker model that's a step down from the Pinnacle. But the other reason the size is important is because it houses and supports 4 8-inch glass fiber woofers in each speaker. That means out of a stereo pair, you get 8 8-inch woofers in your home. Think about that for a second. I know professional bass players who show up to live music gigs in venues many times the size of this room with less surface area radiating bass. 8 8-inch woofers is insane, and I love it. I love how aggressive that is, and I love how they sound even more. More on that in a moment. The cabinets, great design, but I feel like this is the one area that could stand maybe a little improvement. First, the good. The cabinet is pretty rigid in many important spots. The porting and then the interior enclosures assure that there isn't any interaction between the air pressure generated by those huge woofers and the operation of the mid-range drivers and the tweeter. The porting is smartly placed. I like the chamfered edges up front, and I love the time alignment efforts on the front baffle. If you give the speaker a good knock test, it feels pretty good. A little bite back. They are clearly made of MDF, which is good. Maybe a little more bracing to make the cabinet even more inert, mostly at the top, because if you knock on this, I think, yeah, you hear a little resonance. Not a lot though, and I'm not sure we're getting much overly audible degradation from this. I think it's just getting in my head, honestly, but I know that means it's going to get in others' heads too. As long as we're talking about quirks, the other thing about these speakers is that they are a little bit picky about placement. A little bit. They like a healthy amount of room from your back wall, and you want to tow them in just the right amount. The tweeters sound amazing, but they're not super wide dispersion, so take some time to get them in their sweet spot. Oh, and then the invisible magnets for the grills that I will never ever put on, really nice touch. Moving on, we've got two 5¼ glass fiber woofers in a mid-tweet mid or MTM arrangement with a diamond coated tweeter, and this sweet organic cell lattice diffuser over that tweeter is a nice visual touch as well as being audibly functional, I'm told. You can bi-wire and or bi-amp the speakers if you want, which is great if you really want to deliver some massive power to the woofers, though I don't know if that's necessary. I drove these speakers with some low power amps, and while the impedance of these speakers is closer to 4 ohms, they are efficient enough to have a reasonably high sensitivity rating. I mean, I didn't blast them with my little 35 watt per channel tube amp or this awesome high current Rotel DW5. I think it's rated at 30 watts per channel, but neither of those amps had any problem lighting up these speakers and making them sound absolutely beautiful. Actually, let's talk about that next. Why do I love the sound of these speakers? Well, I think the best way to put it is that they get out of the way of the music, and they can also exert their strength for movie soundtracks. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. The bass. I think it's my favorite part of this speaker, which is tough to say because there's a lot to love, right? But the bass is just incredible. For music, they reproduce exactly what's on the recording and all of it. Doesn't matter what genre of music, they go deep, they punch, they kick, but they're also super nimble and refined. So whether you're listening to hip hop or jazz with acoustic upright bass, you're getting an exceptional low-end experience. And I know the next thing I'm going to say is probably going to trigger a lot of you. I know it would me under normal circumstances, but I don't feel the need for a subwoofer when watching movies. I know that these aren't as efficient at super deep bass as a subwoofer, but they move so much air. The deep rumble and gut punch is there, I'm telling you. Give them some power and they will shake your room to shambles. In a good way. The mid-range? The best way I can put it is I don't really hear the speaker here. I just hear the music. It is uncolored, unmuffled, uncongested, none of the things you don't want, and yet it doesn't sound like it's trying hard. It's just the vocalist is there in the room. The brass are there in the room. The timpani are there in the room. And there's depth to the soundstage as well as ridiculous height and width. It's a remarkably three-dimensional speaker setup, and that's due in no small part to the agile, transiently delightful tweeter. I enjoy the high end of these speakers very much. I wouldn't mind a folded ribbon tweeter here because I have a preference for those. That's what I love about the Golden Ear T66, but I'm not complaining. Like I said, the Pinnacle here are going to be the standard against which all other speakers are judged, and I see them doing exceptionally well in those comparisons. Maybe this is the best compliment I can pay. I can't wait to listen to these speakers every day. I look forward to getting home to them and checking out new recordings on them. I look forward to re-listening to my entire vinyl collection. Oh, especially with the Dynaco tube preamp and amplifier. It is so sweet, you guys. They are a destination speaker. I can't wait to get to them. And that feeling hasn't worn off for an entire year. I can't think of another speaker I've ever felt that way about. So what comes next? Well, I'm going to bring in the Ultra Evolution Center, the Ultra Evolution bookshelves, and the Ultra Evolution Nano, and I'm going to make myself a killer surround system. Then I'm going to pull in some Atmos channels and see which of SVS's subwoofers makes sense to complement the system. A little worried about the neighbors here, a little bit, but not too much. But I'm also going to be bringing in some other awesome speakers and have fun comparing them to the Pinnacle. I have to wonder what speaker could possibly lure me away from these beauties. The SVS Ultra Evolution Pinnacle. I think I found my forever speaker. And I think you should audition them yourself. You owe yourself that much. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this review. If you were going to put a speaker against the SVS Ultra Evolution Pinnacle, what would it be? Let me know down in the comments section. Like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and don't forget to hype this video. That's what all the kids are doing. I need you to do it too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again on the next one. While I've been without the SV...